Hi everyone, my name's Jenny Alice. I'm a commercial videographer and Sony Pro Filmmaking Ambassador. If you'd like to connect with me on my socials, please do, at Jenny Alice Films. And if you'd like to check out any of my work, you can head over to my website, jennyalicefilms.com. So I'm super excited to bring you along in kind of like a day in the life of a videographer in partnership with Manfrotto. Now, any other videographer watching this will probably think the same thing as me. No day is ever the same. However, there are a few things that I do every day which are always kind of the same. First off is walking my dog. I love to take my dog for a walk nice and early around 6 a.m. And obviously I love spending time with my dog, but especially on days before shoots, it's just really nice to have some peace and quiet, to have some time to just think through the day and what I want to achieve. Now, secondly, the most important thing, well, one of the most important things, is a good cup of coffee. So once I've had my coffee and I've walked my dog, I'm ready for the day. So today I had two back-to-back shoots, and the first one was in Liverpool Studios. Now, when I got to the studio, my lighting setup was already set up. So I actually went to the studio the night before and set up the first lighting setup for today's shoot, which just meant when I turned up, it was one less thing to kind of, worry about on the day. And it also allowed me to have more time with the client. They were able to warm up and do their practice dance routine. So on this shoot, I was using the Manfrotto tripod.
And this consists of the Manfrotto Nitrotech 608 fluid head, paired with the Manfrotto 645 carbon fiber tripod,
with the FX6 and a wide angle lens. Now, this shoot in particular was a dance choreography with a lot of match cuts. So the first setup was already done, and that was just with two 4s or 60s on either side pointing down. And then on the second setup, I just moved the lighting so it was at a different angle, but it was similar so that I could match cut it. So they were doing the same dance moves, but with different lighting. Now, once we moved to the solo dance part, I completely changed the lighting setup to a red setup. Now, this was with the Nanlite Mix Panel 150s.
Then I wanted to get a few tighter shots, and one of the great things about this tripod is you can spread the legs super easy and get those lovely nice low angle shots. Another thing that I love is how easy it is to adjust the height using these fast locks. So for this scene, it was about focusing on individual dance moves.
Now, up until this scene, it was all static. So on this particular scene, I wanted to use the gimbal so I could get some moving shots just to create something a little bit different from what we've been doing so far. And with the moving shots, I used the Manfrotto gimbal, the 220, paired with my Sony a7S III. And the final scene of the shoot was creating rain indoors. And no, the rain was not warm, but as you can probably tell. And here are some of the shots from that scene. Now, at the beginning, I did mention that this shoot was based around match cuts and using different lighting. So I wanted to add a little snippet of the final edit just so that you guys can see the final result.
Okay, now once our shoot was done, I headed straight over to the next shoot. So the first location is the town hall in Liverpool, and the first scene is in this beautiful grand hall. So this shoot is a fashion film and I collaborated with a French designer based in Liverpool, and you can see all the dresses in this film are from them and they are absolutely stunning. Once the model was ready, I briefed her on what I wanted her to do. So the first shot was a wide shot of her walking towards the mirror. So I had to keep a few things in mind when doing this shot. The first one is kind of obvious. I had to make sure I wasn't going to be in the mirror. And then secondly was obviously my composition and keeping the camera stable, knowing the right time to kind of lift up from the model to the chandelier. And then finally, as beautiful as this haul is, it is kind of a filmmaker's nightmare at the same time. There are a load of chandeliers in this room and they're all powered by a lot of LED lights, which you really have to keep an eye out for when filming because you don't want to get the flicker of doom. So a tip for this is obviously just adjusting your shutter angle. But another tip that I like to do as well, just to make sure, is just to film a test shot. And I just made sure that there was no flickering when I watched it back. I did notice on some of the behind the scenes footage, it does flicker a little bit, and this is easily done. I know that when you're on location, you have a set amount of time, but it is really important just to keep an eye out for things like this because it is easy to do it, and then you don't want to waste your entire day filming if everything's just going crazy and flickering. Okay, and then we moved on to some tighter shots, and these are all handheld, and I lit this with the Nanlite 300B with a parabolic diffuser. Now once I got all my handheld shots done, I then moved on to my tripod shots. So I started off with some wide shots of the model walking up and down the hall. And then I wanted to get some ultra wide shots, so I moved as far back as possible to get both of the chandeliers in the shot. Again, I'm using the fast locking system on my tripod. This is such a game changer for tripods in general. It just makes it so much quicker on set to change the height of the tripod. And for this shot, I wanted a nice low angle shot of the model walking towards the camera. Just had to adjust my leggings as well, just to make sure I was ready for it. And this is a beautiful seated frog position. And I was crouching down behind the camera just to make sure I wasn't in the mirror for this shot. Now once I was happy with the composition, I just got the model to strut towards the camera. So once I'd completed all the shots that I needed, I then moved on to the second part of the location at the town hall, which is on these beautiful staircases. Now I wanted some shots of her running up the stairs. So I did this handheld, but then I also did an alt version, which was also with the tripod. So again, I had it at a super low angle, the legs spread out, and it enabled me to really get into a really great low angle at the bottom of the staircase. Now, once I was happy with all my shots, we then moved on to the next location. Now, this location was outside. We went to St. George's. Believe it or not, we were in the middle of 3 storms in the UK at the time, and this was the best day. So brilliant English weather as always. Now once we got a break in the rain, we then headed off to the first part of our location. Now bear in mind, I actually came here a few days earlier and I walked around St. George's and I did a few test shots. This just meant that on the day of the shoot, I knew exactly where I wanted to go, which meant on the day, we obviously weren't just standing around in the rain trying to figure out where to go next. And it just meant that I knew exactly where I wanted to shoot and it saved a lot of time on the day, including I didn't want everyone to get too cold. A question I get asked a lot is how do I stay focused and confident when you know other people are watching you when you're filming? The best answer I could possibly give you is just to put yourself out there as much as possible. The more experience you get, the more confident you will feel. If I'm honest, I was so focused on getting the shots that I didn't even notice that there was anyone else around until I watched the footage back. I was just directing the model when to pose so that I could move the camera at the same time and just make them work together. And then for this part of the shoot, I did bring my lighter tripod with me when on location, just because it's super light and quick and easy to set up. So for this film, I was only getting a few static shots. However, I just want to mention that all the behind footage is filmed on the Manfrotto 220 gimbal. Also, don't be afraid to play around with focusing. I particularly like that shot because it's out of focus and it's focusing on the building. Now, when filming on the water fountain, I also had to make sure that I wasn't getting some of the surrounding buildings in the shot, just because they didn't really match the vibe of the video, including the flags, which were very bright, hanging down from one building, and then the other building on the other side of the fountain. So I just had to make sure my framing wasn't getting these buildings in. Now, on shoots, you are very focused on your shot list, etc. And on the way to the next location, one of my crew actually noticed a reflection from the puddles, and it's always good to have an open mind and to listen to your crew. Film is a collaboration at the end of the day, and it's never one person's sole vision. Even when you're the director or cinematographer, your own eye alone limits the potential of what can be captured, and I absolutely love this shot. This is actually probably one of my favourite shots. Now, don't be afraid to direct. If you have a vision of how you want something to look, communicate that with the model. And sometimes you may have to try and pose it yourself. It's obviously not going to look as good as if the model was posing. But, you know, we worked together and we got some amazing shots out of this idea. Now, another thing to take into consideration whenever filming anywhere is permits. So when I was filming in Liverpool in the Town Hall and St George's, I had to make sure that I got permits to film there. And I just want to say a massive thank you to the Town Hall and St George's for just being so amazing on the day and just being so helpful throughout the entire process. So I absolutely love this green door outside St George's. It's absolutely beautiful. And we just got a few poses here. Now, the good thing about this part is it is sheltered from the wind, so it also gave our model a little break from the horrific weather that was going on at the time. Then we went back out into the wind for the final shots. And now we're at the final shot, which was on this ledge. Again, I was just directing the model and getting some nice low angle shots. And now I'm really excited to show you the final film.
And that is the end of my day. We've had 2 successful shoots and I really hope that you've enjoyed coming along for the ride. I just want to say thank you to Manfrotto again and also to Wex, and thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate the support. Hopefully I'll see you guys again soon. Bye guys.